Yes, we want to consider two issues. We'll look at the parties and, of course, the security situation. But let's start with security situation. I said earlier, as the security agencies are ramping up efforts to really restore order and improve situation, it appears the perpetrators are still very ingenious, devising other means of creating upheaval across the country. How will you rate the two combinations?
Yeah, well, I always say that the book of the perpetrators, like government has always promised us that perpetrators will be brought to book, is still empty. And the book of those that have been killed, you have them in volumes. And basically because government have not yet understood the dynamics and trying to stop the perpetrators. It's not just about promising, but it's about justice. Because as long as the perpetrators have not seen anybody brought to justice, they will continue. But the moment we start bringing people to justice, the moment you start seeing that people are being jailed as a result of all the mayhems, that people are being arrested and so on and so forth, it will reduce. But when they have a free playing ground, definitely the perpetrators will continue.
And the people may resort to self-harm.
Absolutely. And you see, I always, there are some dynamics to this that government need to start looking into before it gets out of hand. You know, we started looking at the issue of insecurity from the Northeast, the issue of Boko Haram. And now we are talking of banditry and we're talking about kidnapping. If we are not so careful, we can be able to address the issue of Boko Haram, but banditry and kidnapping is an international underworld business. That's going to be very difficult for government to address if it's not been addressed immediately. And again, the strategy at which addressing these issues has always been the problem for me. I don't see someone like Kanu or Sunday Igbo as a major factor or problem to the Nigerian security situation. Let's give an example. When during the Yaradua regime, when Saraki Dokubo was talking and was shouting about issues in the South-South, Yaradua was able to address the issue of the South-South, and an amnesty program was able to roll out. And now we don't hear most of those militancy in the South-South. But here we are in the Southeast, and here we are in the South-South, and here we are in the North-Central with serious issues, but the concentration is just on individuals, not on the problems. And that is where I want government to go back to the drawing board to look at the issues genuinely.
What do you think?
Like what is the agitation of the people in the Southeast? What is the agitation of the people in the South-South? Look at the issues, just like during the Yaradua regime that looked at the issues at the South-South. An ordinary Igbo man, why are the Igbos today shouting about Biafra, Biafra? It's because they have not gotten justice. It's because they don't have enabling environment to be able to execute and to carry out their own businesses. The same thing in the South-South, the same thing in the North-Central, and even in Plateau State where I come from. Create an enabling, peaceful environment, and you will not hear these agitations, because the more we don't create these issues, the more we will be creating leaders that will be talking on issues. When was in the past 10 years, we don't know anybody like Kanu. Kanu was a creation within this administration because the reasons of agitation in the Southeast was not. When did Sunday Igbo came into limelight? And so these are issues that...
But the agitation predates the present administration.
Absolutely. Yes, but then...
The agitation is...
yes, but then the interests and issues that need to be addressed.
Okay.
But if we don't open the table to start addressing some of these issues, very soon, if you don't address the issue in Zamfara, you will hear an arrowhead will come out again in Zamfara as a result of the banditry, like Sunday Igbo and another issue. If you don't address the issues in the North Central, another arrowhead will come out. So you will start. So
it becomes hydra-headed.
So at the end of the day, we'll be giving birth to leaders to separatist leaders if we don't address the core issues. And if we allow separatist leaders to start rising up in different zones, then we'll start, God forbid, that we'll be running down the ways of Sierra Leone or Central Republic of Africa, where you have different separatist leaders. Yeah. So it is very key that government should start looking at addressing the major issues, not individuals.
Your perspective, Emeka.
Thank you very much, and I thank the Honourable Member of the House of Reps for his submissions. And I'll start by saying that it's a very sad situation when we lose people that could have been avoided. In saying that, we must bring together the sum total of what we know, because that's what informs knowledge. And when we allow opinions and conjectures, get into the way, what happens is that for those of us who people listen to, they are likely to believe that there is an agenda by either the state or a section of the state to harm a certain section of society. I'm a Southeasterner from Enugu State. We cannot run away from the fact that the issues we have today are a creation of how we have handled our state since independence. And if we don't get back to tell ourselves the truth, I mean, it's all well and good for me to come here and lampoon the state. People are dying, the state is not doing anything. It would be unfair to say that the state is not doing anything. And singling out
perhaps not doing enough, is that the right?
I don't think so. I think that if you put all the facts together, you would agree that things can be bad and be good at the same time. And if we look at where we're coming from, I mean, my friend mentioned...
It's just like the cup being half full or half empty.
Exactly. So then it now becomes perspective. And we cannot, when it comes to lives, we can't start dealing with subjectivity. My friend mentioned about the South-South and the agitation and how you handled it. Now, we forget the damage that was done in the South-South. The whole communities were wiped out. Those are human beings. What I do quarrel with is labeling terrorists as bandits. I don't know any bandit that will have a rocket launcher to shoot down an aircraft. And so, but again, this is where the press needs to shape the discourse in terms of the terms that they use to describe certain things. A terrorist is somebody who, or a group of people who use terror to get what they want.
But should the government not lead the way by declaring such people terrorists? It has the capacity. There are enabling laws to do so.
The government does not call these people bandits, It is our people, the press, that's calling them bandits.
What I'm saying, the government has declared some groups terrorists. Boko Haram, IPOB. Should the government not also move towards that as far as these bandits in quote are concerned?
Now, what my understanding is that every person involved, especially in the northern part of Nigeria, in kidnapping and killing people, the government sees them as terrorists. That's my understanding.
Is it see them or designate them as terrorists?
For all we understand, the government has already said that these people are members of ISWAP. And everybody on the planet today knows that ISWAP is a terrorist organization. So they don't have to come and say, oh, these ISWAP in Nigeria, they are terrorists. So I think if we get that perspective, so that we'll take away conjecture, and deal with the facts. The government on its own, I mean, every once in a while we hear government has borrowed $1 billion for security. They're not going to come to the table on the market square to tell us exactly what they're doing with the money. But the reality is that the terrorists are meeting their match. And like the president said, well, the government is speaking to them in the language they understand, which is take them out. Why would I want to bring a terrorist to court for lawyers to come and tell me about human rights? If you see him, finish him off.
But there are rules of engagement.
Oh yeah.
Even wars are guided by the Geneva Convention.
If you choose to come to my house to attack me with a gun, the moment I see you, I won't be waiting for any rule of engagement.
Yes, in the course of battle, but outside course of battle, there are rules.
No, Nigeria is not at war. A bunch of guys.
Yes, we are not at war. I'm saying even countries that are at war, there are laws restraining the action of the combatants.
That's when they say war. But here, Nigeria is not at war. We have people who have decided that we cannot have peace. They want to kill us. So the moment we see them, just even if they are 100 kilometers away from us, we'll go there and kill them first. Where I come from, like I said, I'm a
After all, the government, the president asks the security agencies to shoot down any gun-wielding or AK-47
exactly
individual illegally.
That is a good directive. The AK-47 is not for
hunting,
water cans that we use as kids.
It's not meant for local hunters.
No. So I think as it concerns security, government is doing everything they can do for now. Of course, there's need for improvement, and especially my friend is from Plateau State. I can understand his pain.
The hotbed.
Yes.
It's perennial crisis in Plateau.
I can understand his pain. But you see, when we describe this crisis in Plateau with them against us, who are them? Who are us? We are all Nigerians. What we should be talking about is how we educate these people to understand that the collective success, enriches individuals more. And then allowing a bunch of guys, okay, you mentioned Kanu and Igboho, I mean, if you want your matter to be heard, even from the playground as kids, we know that violence and uncouth language have never yielded any result. And my belief is that if I'm having a conversation with somebody on a subject matter, and the person deviates from that to start using terms like, look at your head, he has lost the argument because he's a bully. So government needs to shut down these people, through the courts, follow the course of law. If they charge you for stealing, if the matter for stealing is 2 years, they can convict you, please go and do your time. But we don't need this.
What of the agitation? If they shut down the agitators, have they shut down the agitation?
No, again, I'll go back to what I said before, where I come from. People say that any matter that is still being discussed has not died. The issues that have plagued Nigeria for the better part of 60 years, Nigeria owes its people an explanation and an apology. This country owes every segment of the society an apology. How do you have 10 million children out of school in 2021? And this has nothing to do now whether you are from the south or you're from the north. Yeah, we can also say that every politics is local. That our leaders from the north, for some reason, have just ignored people.
Let's see how Bagos will respond to some of these.
You see, in analyzing most of these things, yes, there is the political will statement from the president, who is the commander-in-chief. And he has given his directives that anyone seen with AK-47
illegally wielding it.
Shoot aside. Illegally, which means the statutory people that are supposed to have AK-47 are just the military and the police. And
some paramilitary organizations.
Even some of the paramilitary, I'm not sure it's AK-47 they are carrying. And if the president has given that directives, let me give you an example with what happened on the plateau in one of the local governments in Bassa, like about 3 days ago, where there was sporadic shooting and killing for 4 hours, no any intervention, and Bassa it's just like about 3 kilometers to the barracks. Nobody was able to salvage and save the Irigwe community that were wiped out, over 200 houses, and the gunshots and sound as the military personnel, you will know that it's AK-47. Automatically, you should know that that's an illegal operation going on. You don't need any command again. The commander-in-chief of the armed forces has already given, shoot anybody with AK-47. So all you need to do is to go and save that community and wipe. So now waiting for chain of command from DPO to area commander to commissioner of police, before it comes to IG, before it gives command, or the GOC saying, well, cannot get till it gets from chief of army staff, and people are being killed on daily basis. So where is the really chain of command? If the president have come out and say, shoot anybody with AK-47, and we have them willingly and roamingly, like with the whole of their heart, so proudly moving with it, and nothing and nobody, nothing has been done up till now. So where is the justice system that we are all talking about? And these people now, over 200 have lost their houses, and nothing has been done to. So where and how can they have confidence in that? And that was why I was saying that these are issues that tomorrow somebody from that Irigwe community that feels that his people have not been treated as Nigerians will rise up tomorrow and start defending the people and doing all that he can, like Sunday ago, and government will now start going against that Irigwe hero instead of going against the people that came and wiped them up. And so that's my problem. So we allow this kind of people to rise as heroes in defense of their own community. So no justice has been done to these people. The next 2 days again, another community close to that, and tomorrow when a strong youth now say, look, government cannot defend me, let me rise up, and immediately government will deploy all resources available to be able to pin down that guy that is now defending his own community. So we should be able to look at these things very well, that look, immediately when there are issues like this, let's give justice to these people first.
Okay.
But if we allow things to roll out and tomorrow we will just be bringing out these youths and those 10 million children that don't go to school and so on and so forth.
Who are potential arms bearers.
There will be arms bearers. And you know that internationally and wheresoever it is, that the young children and youths, child soldiers, they are the fastest recruit in such areas.
The two parties having some problems, major problems, conflict, crisis, whatever you call it, ahead of the election. It's clear there is a struggle, a contest over who controls party structures ahead of the election, general election. What do you make out of it?
I think that first things first, we need to look at what a political party is about. It's a political party is like a polygamous home. Mm-hmm. Every child in it fights his mother's corner. So there's always bound to be contests.
We can't make it in nuclear families. Is it not possible? Because if it's people of shared values, there should be a common ideology.
No, while you may have shared values and shared vision, the process of actualizing these values and vision will differ from pockets of individuals in a group. This is why in the society all of us cannot play for the Super Eagles. All of us can be doctors. But we all belong to Nigeria. So every political party has its own challenges, and this contest of ideas is what causes rumpus. However, if democracy is still a popular way of government where the will of the majority speaks for everybody, what I see is that the PDP as a political party is disintegrating, and its members are rushing to APC. However, arriving at APC...
But a member of the BOT, Joy Emodi, PDP BOT, moved over to the APC.
Exactly. So now they are bringing the PDP soil status into APC, so that when they destroy it, they will go back to PDP again.
But APC, do you think APC realizes this? That perhaps there are fit communists coming in and they are welcoming them with open hands?
You see, you've got to ask yourself, the elections we've had since 1999 up until now, my brother, who is a member of House of Reps, will bear you witness that even in his own election, if they take him to a church, he will swear that it was free and fair. But if you take him to the village shrine, he will tell you that that he's in Lagos, that he may not be able to attend on the day.
He will speak for himself.
For the simple reason that there have been this process of people constantly attempting to hijack the will of the masses. If you are a politician and you are sure of your popularity in your community, test it in the ballot. You don't need guns, you don't need thugs. Again, you don't need anybody to help you. The people know who is amongst them. All of us come from communities. We know those that they call, somebody is sick, you send 1,000, 2,000 for medicine. We know those that buy 750 naira plastic chair for kids to be in school. And then Emeka will arrive in his community in Eke during election and give everybody 10,000 and think that is where how to win the election. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. So I think that for the APC, they will need to be very mindful of the fact that across Southeast Nigeria, for instance, you know, those who, once it comes to election, you will see PDP people jump into APC to secure a governorship ticket. They know that they are not there to win any election. It's just to help PDP continue.
Spoilers.
No, that's spoilers. And so, if you ask me, APC doesn't really have any problems, so to say. They don't. It's the people coming from PDP that are coming to cause confusion, or what Igbo people call Nata people. You know, people who have not been in the
returnees.
Returnees.
You said they don't have a problem. They are PDP bringing the problem, but there are the initial group that made up the APC. They are yet to coalesce, fuse into one. We still see the CPC, we still see the ACN, and sometimes splinter groups within the ACN. There are manifestations to this,
yes,
and you think
in every
problem.
liberal democracy, like I said earlier, there's a contest of ideas. The Labour Party in the UK, the Tories, the Republicans, the Democrats, they are contending. The ACO, the Cortez girl in America, she doesn't agree with everything that everybody says, but she's a Democrat. You understand me? We saw what happened in Arizona, when the McCains decided that Mr. Trump would not win a vote in the place, and they achieved it. So it's a contest of ideas. I've known somebody to contest because the hospital in his area was shut down in the UK. He decided to become an MP to bring the hospital back, and he won, and they brought back the hospital. So people need to, for me, as somebody from Enugu State, I will be seeking that 9th mile to Eke, where I come from, should have water, have hospital, so that women don't have to travel far when they're having children or for antenatal services. Somebody who is from Enugu East will have his own ideas.
Okay.
They will belong to the same party.
Let's get the perspectives of Edacha.
Yeah, I like his analysis, but as a politician as well, you know, politics is local. And in as may that politics is local, the major challenge we have had, or we're still having, just like he rightly said, is a politics of ideology. And it's not just politics of ideology, but a political parties with ideology. A lot of people just use political party as platform.
Exactly.
And understanding the ideology of political parties, people have now defined by force the political party of APC and PDP. Literally, people will just say, well, APC is for the northern folks. PDP is for the southern folks. That is the ideology people have tacked PDP and APC. Yeah. That's the perception. But what truly it's the ideology of a certain political party that will give you a platform? Because if you are going on a platform of a PDP, you are not going on a platform of a PDP that, look, PDP is liberal, or is it conservative? PDP can be able to do this. PDP is it's open to free healthcare. So this is what you want to do. APC is this, but at the end of the day, check the people cross-carpeting to different parties. It's most 80 to 90% is on personal reasons. It's either some want to
Personal
go
and selfish.
Yeah, selfish, because it's either they want to go and find shelter as a result of their activities when they were in office in the ruling party. It's either
shelter from where?
Yeah, well, shelter from whatever they might have done in the office. It's
from anti-corruption agencies.
Well, if it were corruption, or if it were they no longer have a good standing.
I'm trying to help you.
Yeah, if it, well, he's trying to bring out the words from me. You know, it's either they no longer have good standing with people at the local, because politics is local. You know, these are issues that usually drive people to other different political parties or structures or whatsoever. Let me tell you something. Wait and see. Mark my word, I'm telling you today, that after the convention of either of the parties, either PDP, the national convention of either PDP or APC, the ones that were not able to have their own so-called structure in either, they will cross back to the other party. The person that have crossed to APC and he did not see that he's not going to get ticket, or he no longer have the ESCO that will give him the governorship or the local government, whatsoever, he will now run to PDP.
They may
or
not
any other
even wait
party.
for the convention. Once it's clear, clear that the tide is against them, they move. And the two big parties have amended their laws, their rules to accommodate persons moving in. Just all you need to do is you stay hours within the party and you're qualified to contest for a ticket.
And again, this is to the press. I think there are a lot of things we need to look at in terms of politicking before elections. General elections is just 20%.
Or even less.
Yes, general elections that we go on election day is less than 20% of all the procedures that happen.
Of the electoral process.
Has AIT or channels or any of you ever looked at the manifesto of these political parties? What are their manifestos saying? These are the things that will now come at the end of the day to say that, okay, no, this political party, this is its ideology. This political party, this is its ideology. And at the end of the day, again, what are those processes that people are involved in producing a political candidate? You know, people just wait that till the candidate that a political party now produces, that's the person they start. No. If you wait and party A, party B, party C now brings out all devils, at the end of the day, a general election, you must vote any of the devils.
I think one of the things we need to look at is the length of tyranny that Nigeria suffered. It created a generation of people who want instant results. They do not accept the fact that democracy is not a dash, that it grows by incremental developments. On election day, why would anybody kill another person because of an election? Something that comes and in a cycle ends. Yeah. Now, hate or love Mr. President, as a singular personnel of Nigeria's image, regardless of what he wants now, by 2023, his good intentions, however lofty they may be, he will not need to step aside because there are laws governing the state. Right, yeah. Now, we will need to accept that even those of us who are voters or who are commentators on national issues have ignored the fact that every people that want instant results must submit themselves to tyranny. But if you want a process that you just talked about, a process, the society here believes that elections happen to be the only factor in democracy. However, the guy who is driving against traffic, I saw one when I was coming here. You've got to ask yourself, is he normal as a human being? You get? Simply because he doesn't want to go down the other end to turn.
You see people violate traffic offenses across the world. It's not peculiar to Nigeria, but what appears to be peculiar to Nigeria is that
no consequence.
There are no consequences.
Yes. Nobody catches them.
You know? So I heard somebody some years ago said he was going to run for local government chairmanship. That when he wins from South, that the money that was coming would be enough to make him gather 1.5 billion. So that when they come for him, he will share 500 million. And he will still have made a profit. And in saying that, I'm not deviating from
that share among the anti-corruption agencies?
Yes. And in saying that, you've got to ask yourself, that since 2002 in Nigeria, Bakassi local government no longer exists in the country. After we lost the case to Cameroon. However, because Bakassi local government is still listed in the constitution, they continue to receive allocation. And
perhaps there's Bakassi resettled somewhere.
Well, all of us saw recently, after they had been in IDPs for this number of years, it was just only 2019 that the government of Cross River State built 52 houses and said, oh, they will continue building more. You've got to ask yourself, from October 2002 till today, where is this Bakassi local government that we have been allocating 3, 4, 500 million, 600 million, 700 million, 1 billion every month? And where is the money going to? So these are the things that we need to look at and now somebody will be said to be Bakassi local government chairman. Because again, every local government has towns and villages listed
in the constitution.
So the ones that had now gone to, in fact, the entire Bakassi.
Are you sure it's the entire?
Yeah, I think
it's the entire?
No, I think that's an issue.
Or some aspects of it?
Yes.
It's not some aspects.
Because we need to look at maybe because if for instance this is the entire Bakassi, and what was conceded is maybe 90% and 10% still remains Bakassi.
You still have Bakassi.
You still have Bakassi.
Okay.
So these are constitutional issues that you have just provoke thoughts that we need to go back and look at.
Exactly.
Truly, where is the Bakassi?
Let me get your comments. He said there is no problem within the APC.
Well, I'm not an APC member. I wouldn't know what problem they will have, but
you observe events.
From what we are seeing, I know that even from the last judgment in is it Oguno Ondo, and that because the judgment, he did not include the caretaker chairman. If not, they could have lost it because
was not joined.
Yeah, constitutionally, as a sitting chairman, governor, you are not supposed to have any other position, and that is very key. To me, that is a crisis in APC that they need to address, whether they like it or not. Because as long as the caretaker chairman is there as a governor and has been able to execute a lot of roles, people will go with this judgment now. It has opened the eyes that, look, there is serious problem in APC and that angle need to address. So that is well, and if they did not address it, well, that is good for us in the PDP, which means we're going to get everything out to us.
So I think the full judgment has now been published.
Yeah.
You may want to take a look at what that judgment says. The judgment is undetermined. That the criteria for disqualification of a candidate to the office of governor is not resting with INEC's regulations and directives. And there are constitutional provisions and the electoral laws in Nigeria that govern that. And that the caretaker extraordinary convention planning committee of the APC, the party is allowed by law, the NEC of the party, in any party, to set up committees to do whatever assignment for them. And now, the position that His Excellency Buni is holding as chairing that caretaker extraordinary convention planning committee is a temporary one. It's not an executive position. And again, it is parties that submit the names of candidates to INEC, not the individual whose signature is on it. So you may want to look at the entire judgment because it was published only just 2 days ago.
Okay.
And again, like I started by saying that the sum total of what is known is what's called knowledge. Yeah.
Well, what he's making reference to is not that the judgment nullified the status of the chairman of the caretaker committee being a sitting governor, but that it inadvertently threw up that possibility that it could be challenged in court.
Yeah, because you see,
the Supreme Court,
the judgment did not dwell on it.
The Supreme Court agree with the appeal court on that subject matter, and that's what I said. The full judgment has been published. What I find funny is that somehow we have created this atmosphere in Nigeria where once I say no to something, I have a lot of sympathy. Now, the minority judgment of a court is not the judgment of the court.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But you know as we speak,
yes,
that the vice president is holding intense consultations with lawyers.
That's why he's a lawyer.
Yes, and the consultation is over likelihood of a legal contest nullifying the actions of the National Caretaker
I'm sure
Committee.
you also
it
know
tells you that it throws up that possibility that there are threats.
I'm sure you also know
over
that.
its legality. Does it not?
We are also aware that Professor Tahir Maman, a senior advocate of Nigeria, and former DG of Nigeria Law School, is a member of this committee as well.
So what's the committee doing?
What the committee is doing?
Yes.
The committee's job is to organize our convention.
Okay, that's the caretaker committee.
Yes.
Now I'm talking of the consultations by the vice president. What does it tell you?
Of course, he would seek advice from the chief law officer of the country, and
we have seen his own advice.
And they have come out to say there's nothing to worry about in this matter. You understand me? And so if any particular party thinks they cannot win in an election normally, they want to go to court, they are free to do that. I mean, the court is for everybody. The court is not for any particular individual.
Okay.
Like
I
said, I'm not APC. So
I also think that we need to start building confidence in our institutions. You understand me? Because without confidence in our courts and our systems, we will continue to poo-poo anything that happens in Nigeria. And this is what causes people to diss the country. I mean, if you use social media, people are abusing Nigeria. It's like abusing your family. How do you want people to take you seriously?
And you see,
it's like that across the world.
Coming from the justice system.
Social media appears to be abusive. It's not restricted.
Yeah, bring from the justice system he just mentioned. I want to give an example with this issue of hush puppy that the FBI is investigating. And if you follow the train, and especially the background of the officer that was investigating the matter, for him to have even issued a warrant of arrest on Abakar.
That's the court issued.
The court issued. Yeah. But why have the court have to issue? Because of the substantial evidence he gave. And he said for 2 years, he has been trailing all these issues before coming out bare. But our own justice system, at times, when it gets to the court, because of lack of preparation from the security agencies before rushing anybody to court,
they will ask for remind orders so that they will go and conclude the investigation.
They can't conclude investigation, that is not the right way to carry out justice system. Do proper investigation, whether it will take you 2, 3, 4 years, so that once you hit the court, you know that this case will not leave the court. No issue of bail, no issue of this, no issue of that, till you get justice. And Evans, the celebrity kidnapper that was
alleged celebrity kidnapper.
How many years now has there been justice? Has it been so how can other kidnappers even be afraid that if a kidnapper is being arrested, he will go to jail? After how many years?
I just said here that tyranny is for people that want instant results. Evans, whoever, they can be where they are. But I'm happy that ACJA 2015 is beginning to work now in Nigeria.
We're out of time.
Pretty soon, these cases will be dispensed, and then cases will not be
That's our hope.
Because most of these cases are like kind of, is either whosoever is in authority have interest, or whosoever the person that was taken, just like you said, to go now. The person
has $5 billion is a member of the House
of
Representatives, and he was joined by Emeka Enenchi.
Thanks for checking out SYMFONI on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.